Wow, there's like almost no one talking about this anime. I know that there's certain anime out there that people just don't talk about. Maybe there's probably a video, well, actually, maybe a little like snippet of talking about Narenare, somewhere in the internet. Maybe Glass Reflection talk about it during his, like I watch every anime this month or whatever it is or something that he makes. But yeah, here I am talking about Narenare. I'm one of those. Listen, I'm a channel that doesn't review a lot of things. I don't review anime a lot. I don't review movies a lot. When it comes to games, I do, but this is a channel mostly catered to, I guess, reading. But here I am talking about, an anime because, well, this is an anime channel technically, and I want to talk about Narenare Cheer for You. So pretty much when it comes down to cheerleading content itself on the internet, I don't watch a lot of it. But the last show that isn't really an anime that is sort of like somewhat in the same vein when it comes down to the cheerleading stuff is basically this documentary surrounding one of the best cheerleading like teams in America that was, and I forget the freaking name, but it was in a college, and I watched it 2 years ago on Netflix. And if you know what that is, I know that, I was about to say that, somebody in that cheerleading team was arrested for, something disrespect, something Chris Tyson, if I mean. And yeah, that's what I remember from that documentary. That's basically kind of showcased that. I don't know if they mentioned it in season 2, but that's the last cheerleading related thing that I remember, like, hearing about. And here's the second cheerleading content out there in terms of entertainment and story that isn't a documentary, that is basically an anime. So yeah, cheerleading content is not really present out there. But the aspect and work ethic when it comes down to cheerleading, because for those that don't know, I'm in a dance. I was in a dance team, and I was in, dance in general, basically. It's somewhat in the same vein as that when it comes down to choreography, except that you don't see me flipping around. I'm basically doing a lot of performance and a couple like acrobatics of like movements, and also extreme, like, stuff that is kind of dangerous. So I can understand when it comes down to seeing basically anything involving cheerleaders, that I kind of understand the dynamic aspect, because it shares the same vein within, I guess, my history within dance, or within my history of the breakdance culture, because, I did tricks and I was injured, and I get how traumatizing that is for, me, in terms of like, knowing that I can't walk anymore and the worry of that. And basically, yeah, here's this anime showcasing like kind of like those aspects, but in a different way. But that, it's not about me. It's about this anime, of course, and telling you if it's good. I watched 3 episodes of it, and I guess I'll just review and show you. But I want to let you know that this is not really an authentic or review of me giving you scores. I'm just freaking telling you what it is, Like, you asked me, like, it's as if what new anime you've been watching, Vince? And I'm just like, well, let me tell you about this anime that I did watch. And done. Okay, have a good day. You know what I mean? So yeah, here it is. I'm just giving you that. This is not a perfect. I don't get paid to do this at all. I'm just talking. I could talk about anything, but I choose to talk about an anime about cheerleading, and also what I see through it. And basically, it's not bad. It's pretty good to me. I know some people have issues of or giving low scores, but you don't hear them making a freaking review video about freaking Narenare. So here I am. So what is Narenare about? Basically, it's about this one girl. Well, basically a bunch of girls, because takes part in a all girls school, which is kind of an interesting aspect of that. I feel like if it was set in a co-ed school, almost said all boys school, a co-ed school, like imagine a cheerleading anime, but it's set in all boys school and it's in all boys cheerleading. Man, that would definitely match within its tone, like in this day and age. But basically, what this anime is about, actually how it started, it's taking, like, it starts off with, what are those called? I forget the term in either film or animation wise. I don't like, it starts from the finale, or somewhat the finale. I mean, maybe the finale, or maybe a few years ago, I believe. I think it was a few years ago. Because I think all of them were good, and one character was basically like her legs were disabled or something, like from injury. And yeah, she couldn't really walk, at all. And yeah, she's paralyzed from, like, the waist down. It's something either with like his legs, or her legs, or her arms, or something like that. I don't know. But it starts off with that traumatic moment. And this is what I mean by, certain injuries and stuff are pretty serious, because they can literally end your whole entire process of, becoming, like, think about certain athletes that has been through some traumatic, like, injuries that basically ended them, like almost ended them, but also disabling them. I always think about that example from this skateboarder that basically launched himself. This was in the X Games, and this was like a long time ago. And what he did, he launched from up. I don't know how high. I don't know how to freaking measure like heights of in terms of like yards or meters or freaking whatever. But let's just say it's like two houses up, two freaking regular suburban houses high in the freaking air, and landed flats down the ramp. And that has to be one of those painful things I've ever seen in sports history. And I know there's other instances, like, people boxing, and you get hit so hard that you start to go full disabled. I think that's what happened with this one boxer. And also there was injuries, I bet, in like, in cheerleading, where if you're falling from like so freaking high, that is terrifying. And I like how this anime really pictures that, because that is traumatic, that is scary. And basically what this girl is doing is just, really trying to get back to that point, which, I guess in a few episodes sort of like gets used to it in a way. But I like how they really plan it or play it away. But I feel like it's more realistic if it's like, a bit more, because the thing is that injuries and scary stuff that happens to you when you're trying to do any sport, skateboarding, biking, freaking, gymnastics, or swimming, stuff happens, and it scares you. But it's a matter of like you trying to get your self back into it. And I'm surprised that she got herself back, like, and knowing that, especially how high she flies. And I feel like, because I saw only 3 episodes, that the main character with the brown hair is probably going to be like, her focus on her flying is going to be a big aspect within the story, or just like her process in the anime, because all of them have certain abilities that are kind of like reminiscent. Also, like, especially with the parkour girl that is like has blue hair that I forget the name of, but she's short, has blue hair, usually like sometimes wear glasses here and there. If you know what I'm talking about, that she also, it would be like perfect for cheerleading, and she is, that she joined later. But she worked herself to actually get to that point, because she's trying her best to actually be friends with this one girl that is in that team. And you kind of see that aspect of just like her trying her hardest to really adapt, and also, trying to change her ways to actually be accepted in that, and pretty much within, the cheerleading anime. Because she's, you just see her flying, just like minding her own business, and has like her own personal anxiety, or like, like mental situations of reasons why that she ignores people, or just like doesn't show reaction or anything like that. And you see a little bit of character development from this character, the parkour girl, why can I not say that right? Parkour girl. Okay, I can say parkour, but yeah, I usually don't never say anything after it, because I'm not really a parkourist, or whatever they call themselves, like, because she is developing in ways that she's adapting her skills. And then we get into the next character, which is the blonde character. And here's the thing. In my head, I'm like, I never thought, like, the first, like, minute when she starts, like, like, doing this, like, face kiss, which I believe is a common thing in Europe and also in Latin America. I thought it's, like, more like common in Europe. But I never thought it would be common in Latin America, because this girl is from Brazil. And I get that there's a lot. First off, Latin America, from my discoveries, because I'm into geography, a lot of Europeans, like culture influence. And maybe that's the same here in the US. But man, down in Latino America, like that's like, very prevalent. That's like heavy. Like, with the Portuguese culture and the Spanish culture, and you got a little bit of Italian in it. You got a little bit of like Irish in some of those. You have a little bit of Amish in like somewhere in the Belize or something like that. Yeah, it's like implemented in a lot of their culture, Dutch, French, and a lot of it. And pretty much, I guess she just adapted that, and especially her name, just like it's a Portuguese kind of like with Italian last name in itself, like this, last girl, which is basically the blonde girl that is from Brazil. And the thing about this anime, the reason why I, wanted to watch it, because I heard that there was a Brazilian character in this, and I wanted to see that representation because I love Latin America. Okay, that's pretty much that representation with other animes, because there isn't a lot of representation. It's all freaking Japanese. You got a couple of Americans, but can we just have a one Brazilian? Because that just makes the flavors just spicy. You know what I'm saying? This is make it spicy. You throw some Indian there, you boom, spicy. I'm talking about diversity here, okay? We can't just be flat with the freaking soy sauce. Sometimes we got to put a little bit coxinha in it, you know what I'm saying? But so that's what they did. They put a Brazilian girl with her own culture and also her charismatic attitude or stuff like that. Because if there's one thing about, Japan that always like, is always in the back of my head when it comes down to the people, is that Japanese people are not really the touchiest people ever at all. Like they're the bow their heads. You never really shake anyone's hand up there in Japan, which is not a bad thing, but it's always interesting. And the moment that you bring in a European or a Latin American or someone from Africa or someone from the US, like that is into hugs, that basically meets you but really grabs your hand, like how you doing, put it there, like it's like, and especially from Brazilian that actually does the whole head kissing thing, when most of them would be thinking like that's like unusual and weird, which to me is weird. Okay, any Brazilian dude coming at me and they try to kiss my face, you'll get slapped. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. You will get slapped. Okay, don't come and kiss me in the freaking face kiss when you're trying to meet me. I just don't know that. I'm from America. I don't really do that. I don't know you like that. Buy me dinner first before you start kissing me and like on the cheeks. Okay, I don't know you. Hello, but when it comes to that, expression from different cultures that is adapted into this anime, because I always known that Brazil always had like, a certain love, like, Brazil had a certain love with Japan. Japan had a certain love with Brazil. There's even a little Brazil town in Japan, and there's a little, Japan town in Brazil, Liberdade. And pretty much, yeah, just seeing that finally being represented in anime is pretty nice. It's like a change of pace. It's a change of heart, and I'm so appreciate that. And no, and people that are talking about this anime don't freaking talk about that. And I get that people usually don't care about like ethnicity, race, or whatever you are. Yeah, maybe in American entertainment, yeah. If you see a Brazilian and American show, I guarantee they will speak English, and there's really nothing changed, even though you hear the accents. But when it comes down to Japan, and you see someone different from another culture, not America, but not just America, but just places that are so different, that are far off from Japanese norms, like that's just that's always interesting to me. And she has a little bit of capoeira influence in her, so you see all these girls that has different aspects, not with the cheerleading, but also different sports, basically different avenues, and they adapt that into what they do in the cheerleading. And I find that very interesting, just adapting and using what and also using it in a different sports, like, if you're into golf, you probably might find some kind of like, way, an avenue within baseball, something like that, just something crazy. Just throw it up there and just, you express it the way you want to express it, which is, this is my way of expressing the way I talk about video games and talk about stuff. It's all came from me ranting and me getting angry, and I try to adapt that by talking about animes, which you kind of almost see it or hear it here. I apologize for that, but that's just how I express it. So with the three episodes, it's pretty nice. Yeah, some of the visuals is sort of like, someone saying it's a bit off, but I can see that some of it's cut here and there. But the story itself from, the three episodes, and listen, I kind of watched one episode, and then the next one was not until like 3 days later, the second one, and then 6 days later, I watched the freaking third one, and pretty much I finished the third one yesterday, and here I am now reviewing it. So yeah, my reviews are a bit off in terms of like watching the amount of episodes. That's why I couldn't give you a really authentic way of really knowing it. But from what I remember of heart and knowing this, that the progression of this slice of life anime, it really draws into a lot of like messaging of just like how it is to improve who you are as an athlete, basically. And you see that through the main character that is just over like developing, and also all of them planning and working together to be like cohesive, like Olympic, not Olympic, like a cheerleading team, basically. So, and also from what I experienced so far through this anime is very interesting, and it's just all comes down to the characters, just how interesting they are, how relatable, the idea of adapting different sports and here and there, and pretty much going to something like I pretty much would adapt like my at least my history within skateboarding, and then try to really put it into dancing itself, so I can almost relate to that in a sense. And because with any anime, that I guess there's a lot out there that is for everyone. I mean, pretty much I'm still waiting for a dance like breakdancing, kind of like anime. When's that gonna come? Hello. But for cheerleading, and also you got like a biking, you have tennis, you have all these different sports that is adapted into animes, and pretty much this is one of them that does it pretty well. And also is like, it's also pretty cool because you see a little bit of parkour, you see a little bit of like, like funny moments here and there, and also like moments of just like closeness of like like, how do I say it, like word it, situations of like how we gotta get through this. You're like basically needle through the thread or something is how they say it. But yeah, this anime is pretty. I'm just here to tell you that it's pretty good. It's, if you're into cheerleading sports anime, then this is one of them, because I guess it might be the same thing with me when it comes down to Haikyuu, and I remember that. I mean, I keep hearing people talk about Slam Dunk or something. I don't know what it is with basketball animes, but I'm not into it. But I might check it in here, and you might see a review of that. Who knows? And I'm really trying to watch a bunch of new animes here and there. So yeah, we'll just wait and see. I don't know. I'm just here to tell you, like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's not bad. Story's done. Whatever people's like opinion, and most people like that I seen were like, yeah, this is okay. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that's this. It's okay, but there is some aspects to like the story that I won't spoil, that I know what direction it's gonna go to. There's a lot of curiosity of just like what that beginning was. So I'm kind of looking forward to the other episodes of really seeing if they answer those questions. I'll see you when I see you. One love and a piece, and yeah, Narenare, I give it like a 7.10. One love and a piece. God bless.